Fury Warrior is fast. If you ever felt bored waiting for your buttons to light up or your hate setting still, this spec fixes that instantly. You're always doing something, generating rage, spending rage, weaving in cooldowns, and cleaning everything around you almost by accident. But because it's so fast, a lot of new and returning players end up mashing buttons without a plan and wonder why their damage feels so low. So in this guide, I'll help you understand how Fury is actually meant to be played, what to prioritize, and how to stay enraged. Let's start with Fury Warrior's core principles. Fury Warrior is built around a feedback loop. You generate rage, spend it on rampage, and that triggers enrage, which makes you attack faster and hit harder. So you generate more rage and do it all over again. What makes this spec stand out is the lack of downtime. Almost every ability you press either gives you rage or deals damage. You don't have to wait for procs or stand still for a long cast, you just go. While other specs swap builds between single target and AoE, Fury uses essentially the same buttons everywhere: raid, dungeon, or open world. And that makes it not just beginner friendly, but also a great pick if you want to focus on execution and rhythm over complexity. But before we talk about how Fury plays, we need to look at the hero talent trees, because they change the way this spec feels entirely. Fury Warrior has two talent trees, Mountain Thane and Slayer. Both are viable, but they play and feel very different. Mountain Thane brings back Thunderclap for Fury and turns it into a heavy-hitting rage generator thanks to the Crashing Thunder passive. It also adds Lightning Strikes, which randomly zaps enemies during your rotation, and Thunder Blast, a stronger version of Thunderclap that ignores armor. The result is a spec that feels chaotic in a good way. You're constantly getting extra procs and cleave without changing your rotation much. It also gives you more defensive passives, which makes it ideal for Mythic Plus, where survivability and constant AoE really matter. Slayer, on the other hand, is all about frequent execute windows and rapid Blade Storm resets. It gives you a debuff called Mark for Execution, which makes your execute hit harder and show up more often thanks to sudden death. At the same time, Blade Storm becomes your main AoE tool, dealing huge damage and coming off cooldown much faster. You can even interrupt and stun while spinning. Slayer plays like a fast-paced, aggressive build focused on procs and burst windows, but it's slightly more fragile and has weaker sustain compared to Mountain Thane. So which one should you choose? If you're raiding and want to go all in on execute damage, Slayer is still the go-to. But if you're doing Mythic Plus or you're a beginner or returning player, Mountain Thane is the clear winner. It has better sustained AoE, stronger defenses, and a smoother rotation overall. So now that you've picked a hero talent and have a sense of how Fury is going to feel, it's time to talk about how you actually play it. Fury Warrior's core rotation is built around Rampage and Enrage. Start with Bloodthirst and Raging Blow. These are your main generators. Bloodthirst has a 30% chance to trigger Enrage on its own, and Raging Blow has 2 charges and can reset itself, which keeps things moving. Once you have at least 80 rage, you spend it on Rampage. This is your highest priority spender because it's what triggers Enrage, giving you 4 seconds of bonus haste and damage. That's the heart of the spec. Build rage fast, spend it on Rampage, keep Enrage rolling. In AoE, you press about the same buttons, but you change how you use them. In Slayer, you use Whirlwind before single target abilities like Raging Blow or Execute to let them cleave nearby enemies. And for Mountain Thane, you use Thunderclap instead of Whirlwind. It generates rage, hits harder, and benefits from talents like Crushing Thunder and Thunder Blast. That's it, same rotation, just adapted to cleave. The most important thing is momentum. You don't want to sit capped on rage, and you don't want to let Enrage drop if you can help it. Keep moving, full send it. And that momentum, it doesn't just come from your basic abilities. Fury's cooldowns are a huge part of what keeps the spec rolling. So let's talk about how to use them. Recklessness is your main offensive cooldown. It guarantees crits for 12 seconds, which means more damage and faster rampages. Use it early and often. Don't sit on it. With talents like Anger Management, the cooldown becomes even shorter, so the more you fight, the more you wreck. If you're running Slayer, Recklessness is also what fuels your Blade Storm and Execute spam. Use it to go all in during burst windows. Just remember that Blade Storm generates rage, so you will follow it up with Rampage right after. If you're running Mountain Thane, cooldowns like Avatar or Thunderous Roar become part of your burst combo. Pop Avatar, hit Thunderclap to trigger Thunder Blast, and ride the lightning for huge rage and cleave damage. Ravager also deserves a mention. It's a fire and forget AoE cooldown that does solid damage and generates rage passively while it spins. Whether you're fighting a pack of enemies or just want to keep your rotation flowing, Ravager fits in cleanly without disrupting your tempo. Use it early and often. If you're returning to the game or picking up the spec for the first time, don't overthink it. Focus on keeping Enrage active, spending rage on Rampage, and cycling through your cooldowns. Everything else is just refinement. Hero talents do add flavor, but the good news is both Slayer and Mountain Thane are strong and easy to learn. If this guide helped you finally understand how Fury is supposed to work, consider giving the video a like. And if you want more guides like this for other specs, subscribe and check out my other videos. If you have questions or got stuck in anything, drop a comment, I'll try to help you out. As always, I want to thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.